Welcome to our special Tribeca Festival edition of My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding a light on Black excellence. To kick off LGBTQ plus Pride Month, we have decided to choose to introduce you Black Fruit, an upcoming German TV series having its world premiere at Tribeca Festival this year. And we are going to talk about this with Lamin Leroy Gibba, who is the creator of the series and has a special bond, not only with New York, but with Harlem in specific. He attended drama school at the New School University and appeared in theater production of the Classical Theater of Harlem, which we love. I go to all their productions. They're amazing. So you are a theater, TV, and film actor, writer, and producer. So welcome back home, Lamin.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really amazing to come back to the city with like a project like this, where I feel like New York really shaped me so much as an artist, and living in New York and for 5 years really made such a difference, because I left when I was 19 and I came back when I was 24. So it's really like formative years. So yeah, to be returning now and in this kind of context is really amazing.
Fantastic. It's really amazing because this is a very important production. It's a big co-production team. It has important directors, and it will start in the fall in Germany on ARD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has 8 episodes. So how did you obtain such great result?
It actually started in New York. I had the idea for the show when I was still in New York, and I was just thinking about going back to Germany and working there, especially as a writer. I really felt the need to go back to Germany at some point and to tell stories from a Black German perspective that is still really underrepresented in Germany. So I left with the idea of this TV show that has a certain tonality that works kind of in the dramedy realm, but is also in conversation with different kind of genres, and of course really centers Black and queer perspectives. And so I arrived in Germany, really tried to find some way of getting people to hear about this idea, and I pitched it at different places. I tried to submit it to contests and all of that. So, but then at some point I met a production company called Jünglinge Film, and with them together we started to really put this whole package together of getting funding from Hamburg, is also where we shot this show and also where I'm from. So we kind of created it from there together, and created like this entire team and all the things that we now have, and so now it's shot, and we're excited to share it in the fall. Hopefully also in the US. So far it's only going to have distribution in Germany, but of course I would also love for it to be available in the US.
I'm pretty sure it will after Tribeca.
Yeah, I hope that would be incredible. Yeah.
So not only you created this series, but you're also the show's head writer, executive producer, showrunner, and lead actor. What compelled you to embark in this journey?
I think acting was my first love. I always wanted to perform. I always wanted to play characters. And that was also why I came to the New School to begin with. But the New School was very interdisciplinary. So you also were writing, playwriting, you were also directing for the theater. And already before I was writing, but I was very focused on acting. I was like, I have to really focus on that. And I think after I was done, or after I graduated, there definitely was a moment in which I was like, okay, I'm really excited for the future. I'm kind of excited for this kind of role and this kind of role. And I at some point realized I felt like that the kind of roles that I want to play. I have a very specific idea, actually, and I have very specific stories that I want to tell and very specific tonality and kind of the world that I see. So then at some point I was like, why don't I just try to make this just come alive? Like try to actually tell the story myself and with other people, of course, and bring together a team. Because yeah, I think it's a result of like not wanting to wait for kind of a project that would really excite me, but to kind of create it myself. Yeah.
It's very entrepreneur-like, on top of being an artist. So that's very good. And you're so young, so you have really exciting career in front of you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, who are Lalo and Tobias in this story, and what is the story about?
Yeah, Lalo and Tobias, they're a couple, a pretty dysfunctional couple, I would say, but they definitely both have, yeah, their the reasons why they're still in the relationship and also like really fundamental flaws, I think that will make their relationship always really difficult. And yeah, so we meet them in the first episode, and I think we can already spoil in a way that like their relationship finds an ending in that first episode, but stay tuned. There's definitely more to come with the two of them, but yeah, and we kind of are kind of thrown into the world. So like the idea was to really think of an audience that is really ready to kind of just immerse themselves in this world and kind of figure out, okay, who is connected? Who are all these people? So we are meeting Lalo at the first kind of get together with Tobias' family, and they really wanted to meet him, and there are definitely some kind of different perspectives in the room that are crashing. And I also think I'm also really excited, I think, for an American audience to see this because it's very specific German. It's very specific kind of like not all Black German experience, of course, but it's a very specifically like Black German experience and kind of like what is the kind of discourse, what is the kind, where are we, what is the kind of history and the context, and they also talk about America and they talk about race and racism in America in comparison to Germany. And so I'm really excited to kind of get to be in conversation with Americans about it. Yeah.
And that's,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, but I think like that's kind of like the microcosm of the first episode, but the whole show in itself really is about this friendship of Lalo and Carla, who are friends since they were children, and who are also very different, and who kind of through their childhood friendship are kind of stuck together in a way, for better or for worse. They have like their certain dynamic that is also challenged throughout the season for sure. But it's really the story about their friendship and about Lalo kind of finding a way to work through his grief. His father dies shortly before the show starts. So this is kind of like how we meet him. And he really is forced to figure out kind of what kind of life does he want, who is he actually, and what choices does he have to make to kind of continue in a way that feels more truthful to him. Yeah.
And what you said about the meeting of a family, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you, because there is a specific message that you're sending us, especially during the dinner scene, when you introduce some awkward moments, like Tobias' mother and father that repeatedly talk about how different is racism in America and in Germany. And then his mom insisting in asking you, you must have had some stories about racism and so on. What is the message you are sending us with that?
I think I always think about like questions and kind of like what is the what kind of situations to create, or sometimes also situations and scenes to be a microcosm of something bigger. And I do think it's a lot about kind of not getting the opportunity to decide when you are going to share certain aspects of your life that might feel traumatic. And also I think the true difference in kind of intensity that like these topics might like bring up. So the idea that, oh, this is something that you can just talk about. And that's why I also wanted to really find something that might feel as similarly like personal or private, that kind of Lalo in a moment of, okay, now how do I change this situation? How do I empower myself in some way, or kind of set a boundary in a way that it might not be the best way to set a boundary, but this is his way of doing it. And I kind of wanted to think about, what does it feel like to be forced to talk about race, to be forced to talk about racism, to be forced to kind of share very personal experiences by people who feel like it's very low stakes, who feel like, oh, you can just share this is just a story. I think that was something that was really important, and to find the dynamic, but also, of course, then to twist it in some way for the character to maybe go a little bit in a direction that might be not expected or something, especially of how we meet him in the beginning.
Yeah, I found it very, very interesting because now that you're saying this, so you are trying to set the limit between your private life and people not trying to force you to go into that private life in a moment you don't want to. You're not ready for that now.
Yeah. And I think it's also really important for me, like the point of view, like this show is for everyone, but it does have a Black gaze. Like our writers' room was, we were all Black and all very different perspectives in that room, but all were Black. And I think it's really important that the show has a Black gaze. So the idea, I think the family, in the end, they will never really know what happened there. I think it's not explained to them like what the issue was, but I think I wanted to make visible a certain kind of experience that, yeah, many Black people in Germany and maybe beyond share, and to kind of feel like, okay, the camera, this show is with them there, and we feel you, we've been there, and kind of to feel maybe a little bit less alone in those kind of experiences.
Were you born in Germany?
I was born in Germany, yes.
Oh, you consider yourself German, right?
Yes. Yes.
And how does it feel for you to explain, when you were in New York, what is the difference you felt in New York versus Germany, in the way you felt, and you were surrounded by people, like, I think more diversity here than in Germany?
Yes, for sure. And I think it's so deeply complex, because I think when I first got here, I kind of simplified it for myself. I kind of was like, oh my God, I feel so much more like I belong here. I feel so much less like hyper visible, right? Like in Germany, there's definitely there are a lot of Black people in Germany, but they're still, you're hyper visible. You're often seen as not German, perhaps. People often assume that you don't speak German, things like that. And
Yeah.
that is something I didn't experience when I went to New York, even though I actually wasn't from there, and I actually was not that fluent in, I mean, I was fluent, but like I was not a native English speaker. So like all of those things like didn't apply. And so that was really empowering for me. And I mean, to see specifically Black Americans, and to kind of see what they have created, the kind of like in what empowered way they are telling their story. So I work with other friends and collaborators who are Black American, and I was just so empowered and inspired by them. And also being part of one show at Classical Theater of Harlem, like to be there and to see that audience, and to see something that is specifically for Black people, and everyone is invited, of course, but the gaze is Black, like that to me was just, yeah, really incredible to experience. And I kind of took some of that out of that, like to Germany, I think, and was like, let's connect, let's bring other Black people together, like let's come together and create something with this kind of um, with this kind of self-empowerment, I guess, or
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
pride too, like of like these are our experiences, and we're really proud to share them with everyone, and we kind of want to make certain experiences and characters visible.
Which show was it that you were in?
I was Antigone. I was
Oh my
Antigone.
God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and I had like the smallest role ever, but it was actually was my first role right out of college. It was literally like a few weeks after I graduated. It was with Carl Cofield, my acting professor.
Yes.
Who,
Oh my
yeah,
God. I interviewed him. I have a wonderful
he's
interview.
incredible. He's so incredible. And yeah, and he asked me to be part of the production. And so like right away I was able to, yeah, do this show and just to be in community with the other actors and kind of see what they were doing and just to be in Harlem and to be at Marcus Garvey Park, like for all of those nights was just like, yeah, beautiful.
Wonderful. It must have been an amazing experience. It started really off with the top.
Uh,
This production, oh, let's go back to Carla because the picture that you define of Carla, her character, is very, very interesting because she's a Black woman who's just been promoted, and she faces challenges because she is a Black woman making a career in the white man's world of finance. So let's talk a little bit about her. And Carla is interpreted by Melody Simina, right?
Yes, yeah, she's incredible. Melody's incredible. And yeah, I think with Carla, yeah, I think her character kind of came to me in a way. I mean, both of these characters came in a way like as two. But I was really, I think, interested in seeing a character that on the surface in a way kind of reaches all of their goals, but has to do it under circumstances that are so unfair and no one really sees it. And so I kind of wanted to find a way to make that visible again with the kind of subjectivity of a TV show, like of a story, to kind of see those moments which feel so heavy but might not be seen all the time. So that was something I was really interested in, and also kind of to see what kind of toll that takes in long term. So we really are like we really go into that for throughout the whole season. And yeah, but also to see all of the kind of flaws that she has in that, and like what are her strengths, and like how are those also connected in a way, and what is her kind of narrative about her life and how she's supposed to be. And we meet her sister and her parents, and I think through that I hope there's kind of like a picture that you can kind of put together of like, yeah, maybe why are there certain expectations and pressures that she puts on herself? But again, what are the kind of pressures that are on her by the world, and how is she able to find some kind of freedom in that, or where can she find her way to really be herself and all of those things? That is something we will explore this season. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about your career because you are young, but you have already achieved quite a lot. You won 2 Grimm Awards with a feature film. That kind of thing doesn't happen to us. And you were portraying Hannes. You have written and produced several short films, including Dog Friend, that screened across the world, including Tribeca Film Festival, and won the first prize at the International Short Film Festival in Berlin, and was nominated for the German Short Film Award. And in 2023, you appeared on the European Forbes 30 under 40 list. Tell us a little bit about what moment in your career and during this parkour you did, you felt this is a stepping stone for me, or this is a drawback, or this is an advantage, the best moment, the worst moment for you?
Yeah. I mean, you just reading this now feels so Yeah, incredible, because I can really remember after I graduated college, kind of with the expectation of like, okay, I want to work, I want to do something right away, applying to like fellowships and kind of all these kind of programs in the city as well, and kind of trying to figure out like, how can I do this? How can I just like get any small role, like right, the under fives, like right, like these like act like that kind of was like, I was like, how can I somehow tell stories? And like, so I, yeah, I'm so grateful that I now have the chance to tell stories in this way. And I do think it's connected to also really telling the stories that I felt I really had to tell, and which was going back to Germany, I believe, and like going back and like telling stories that I feel like are so deeply missing. And I think that really also gave me so much energy, I think, to really like push through and kind of like all the rejection. I mean, this project got rejected a lot in Germany before it finally, like, I found other producers, or found producers that like with Jünglinge that I really connected with, but it was really it was not met with excitement or anything like that. So I think it was really connected to me telling a story that I really wanted to tell. And I'm excited to also work in the US again. And I see myself in that context as well. But the idea of not doing that and only staying in the US and writing there and acting there just wasn't what was right, which took a moment for me to understand. But I do think like going to back to Germany, having like all these like projects and kind of starting them and feeling okay, this feels really right to do this right here and right now feels really good. And I also really connected with other filmmakers that were on a similar like level, or like were working in a similar way trying to create projects with like little to nothing, kind of trying to get fundings and seeing how to put things together. And so I really found a community in Berlin when I got here, when I returned. And I think that was really important for me to, yeah, tell stories, and all of those things um, that you're reading there, like they're all happen through community and through working together with other filmmakers that I really respect.
And you're, in fact, what you're saying now is really the fact that this production is a very diverse ensemble, and of cast and co-writers. How valuable is this choice for you?
It's everything. It's everything. It's so important that like the the new perspectives, or not the new perspectives, but the often overlooked and marginalized perspectives are not only on screen, but like behind the camera. I mean, that is something that is, so many people are saying this and it's so true, but it's still not done so many times. And it's just in every kind of choice, from like, who are the makeup artists, who are the writers, who are the directors, who's the DOP, like all of those things really matters in telling a story from a truthful point of view, where people are really speaking from, yeah, a point of view that just feels really truthful to them, and something that they might also feel like is so needed in being spoken or being seen. So yeah, having this crew and this cast, yeah, it was just incredible. I think it's honestly one of the things I'm most excited about, like to see everyone on set and like to see them play those roles, for them to be in those positions, and everyone did such an incredible job of like from yeah, from really every department. I was just always just so in awe of what they were doing. And I think it is connected to their talent, and like them being not often getting maybe the opportunities that they should get, and them seeing this opportunity, and they kind of like bringing everything to the table. And yeah, I'm just so excited by them. And I'm also excited that so many are going to be there for the premiere. So many of them are going to come all the way from Germany to New York. I think we're going to be like 20, 25 or people at the premiere. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's going to be a big party,
Yeah.
a big
Or,
celebration, an
yeah.
amazing celebration. I'm very happy for you. Um, you said this has been rejected a lot. Why do you think it was rejected?
Mm,
And why do you think this particular company thought it was something to show on TV?
yeah.
On a TV like that, I mean, on a channel like like that, which is a
Yeah.
very important one.
Absolutely. I think there are multiple reasons that came together. I think one is definitely also I was an actor who was not known in any kind of way and kind of pitching this project and being like, I can do this. And people were like, I don't think you can. I think that was the main thing. But I also definitely think or know that there was this idea that a story with two Black and queer characters wouldn't be accessible or interesting to a wider audience, even though it's been proven over and over and over again that like specific stories from specific points of view, especially those that we haven't seen, is so interesting to like the mainstream. But it was definitely something that was sometimes not directly said to me, but sometimes it was directly also said to me that this is it has no audience.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah, and then you kind of like, and you're just like, I know there is, but like it's so hard. Like once you have that kind of argument, it's really hard to argue in a different way instead of except of saying over and over again. I feel like there's so many projects all over the world that prove the opposite,
Mm.
that stories that are told from a specific community, from a point of view that is not seen yet, is so interesting to everyone. But yeah, so I think Jünglinge, they had just made their feature film debut that also like premiered at Berlinale and won many awards,
Mm.
and also the Teddy Award. And there they're also centered queer characters of color that
Mm.
were really, it was just a really, really powerful film and really, I think, had made a shift in like the German cinema scene. And I think we really connected with it. I saw the film too, and I was so excited, and I talked to them about it and approached them, and so we really quickly wrote like spoke the similar language, and we have very different also perspectives and backgrounds, but I think they really are informing each other. But there was no explaining. They were even more like, okay, like we're excited, like more. They were even like encourage so much more like encouraging, and yeah, that was I think just the match where you just didn't have to explain yourself or like why the show would matter. Like it was very clear to them from the beginning.
Yeah. Wow. Very good. Amazing. I'm very happy for this this change because I think this is going to set the trend in Germany.
I hope.
I'm pretty sure it will. It's
Yeah, I hope I hope there are more stories because unfortunately as of now, like it's still a rarity. Like there are other shows definitely also with um Black characters and characters of color in them, and it's more and more recently because there's also been a lot of activist work by like filmmakers in recent decades actually, but it's still there's so much room for actual like structural change. So I really hope that it changes kind of broadcasters and everyone in these institutions to be like, okay, like give more people the resources to tell their story in a way, and give them the trust that they can do it.
good. So let's say to our viewer, tell our viewers when is the world premiere at Tribeca so that they can come and see this beautiful first
Yeah,
episode of your series.
the world premieres on the 9th of June at the Village East Theater. And we're going to have a second screening on the 12th and also one on the 16th. So it's going to be screened 3 times. Yeah, and
Perfect.
I think some of them are already, I think most of them are actually sold out, but there are rush tickets I heard are pretty, like a lot of seats I think will open up if you're there early. But yeah.
Perfect. So thank you again for this conversation. We have come to the end of our time. It flew quickly because this was
Thank
very,
you so
very
much.
interesting. And I'm going to see you in New York.
Yes, I'm
Ne-
excited. Thank you so much for the invitation and the conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for taking the time for this. And see you soon. And see you, my viewers, next Saturday, 12:30 p.m. on My Harlem Portraits. And to check out the other episodes of my show, go to My Harlem Portraits YouTube channel and you see everything there. Bye-bye again, Lamin. Have a wonderful
Bye. See
day,
you soon.
a wonderful trip.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.